Have you ever had a moment where you just knew something before it happened? Maybe your phone started ringing, and before you even looked down, you knew exactly who was calling. Maybe you walked into a room and instantly felt that something was wrong, even though nobody in the room had said a word and everybody was smiling and nobody seemed to be bothered. Or maybe you had a dream about someone that you haven't spoken to in years, and then the very next day they called you or you ran into them. And then you thought, wait a minute. Was that a coincidence? Was I just imagining that? Or am I actually psychic? Well, if this has happened to you, let me know in the comments because I want you to understand something that's very important. You may be much more intuitive than you could ever realize. And for those of you who are tuning in, it's Matt Fraser, America's top medium, and I'm here with you today because I want to talk to you about something that I get asked constantly as a psychic medium, and that is, how do you safely develop your psychic abilities when you're just starting out? Because there are so many people who feel things. They sense things. They have vivid dreams, right? They know things before they happen. They walk into a room and immediately can pick up on energy. But here's the thing. Nobody ever taught them what to do with it. And that alone can be very confusing. Sometimes it can even feel overwhelming. So today, I want to make this very simple because developing your psychic ability should not be scary. It should not take over your entire life, right? And it should never make you feel like you have to be spiritually turned on 24/7 a day. 24 hours a day, I should say, right? Your intuition is supposed to help you navigate your life. Think of it like your inner GPS. It gives you little nudges. It helps you recognize when something feels right. And it warns you when something feels totally off. Now listen, sometimes as that ability develops, it can also help you become more aware of the spirit world. But before we even get into that, there's something really important that you need to understand, right? Listen to this. Your psychic ability is already part of you. People sometimes think that psychic ability is something mystical and that suddenly arrives one day. Here's the truth. It really isn't. I believe that intuition is something that we all have to a different degree. Think about a mother who suddenly knows that something is wrong with their child before the phone even rings. Think about the person who says, I don't know why, but I just had a feeling not to take that road today. Think about meeting someone for the first time and instantly feeling uncomfortable around them, or instantly knowing, I don't trust this person. You might not have any logical reason for it, but you just feel it. That's intuition. And the more that you start paying attention to those quiet impressions, the easier that it becomes to recognize them. But one of the biggest mistakes that beginners make is trying to force it. I see this over and over and over again. They think, okay, I'm going to become psychic and I'm just going to sit here until I see a spirit, right? Or I'm going to predict something and see if it happens. Or I'm going to read everybody in the room. No, you don't need to do that. Actually, one of the best things that you can do when you're first developing your psychic ability is slow everything down. So let's talk about step one. Step one is get grounded. This is actually the most important. Before you try to open up to your intuition, you need to be grounded in your everyday life. So what does it mean to be grounded? I mean being present, sleeping, eating, taking care of yourself, going outside, laughing, spending time with family, doing normal everyday things. Because spiritual development should add to your life. It shouldn't pull you away from your life. You know, I've spoken to people over the years who became so fascinated with signs, numbers, dreams, and spiritual messages that suddenly everything had to mean something, right? For example, the lights flickering. What does that mean? What does that mean? Oh my God, a bird just landed outside. What does this mean? What's the meaning for that? Are they warning me what's going on? Right? They wake up at 3:17 in the morning. They're like, okay, 3:17, it's 3:17. What does that mean? Sometimes a light bulb, right, just goes out. Sometimes a bird is just looking for food. You don't have to analyze every single second of your day. Your intuition becomes clearer when you're actually relaxed. Not when you're desperately searching for signs, not when you're desperately searching for messages. So before you practice anything, get yourself centered. Put both feet on the floor. Take a few slow breaths in and out, and feel yourself. Feel yourself sitting in the chair. Notice the room around you. You can even imagine roots extending from your feet down into the earth. And as you breathe, imagine yourself becoming calm, becoming centered, and becoming present. That grounding is important because it reminds you that I am here, I am in control, and I decide when I'm going to open and when I'm going to close. Ready for step two? Step two is set your intention. Now, after you ground yourself, right? I always believe intention is so important. You can imagine yourself, right, surrounded by bright and golden light. That's one of the most beautiful things that you can do. Almost like you're standing inside of this beautiful bubble of peaceful energy. And in your mind, you can simply say things like, I only welcome love, positivity, truth, and guidance that serves my highest good. You don't have to make it complicated. You don't have to light candles, right? You don't need 10 crystals lined up perfectly. You don't need a special robe or a special hat. You just need to be clear with your intention. Invite spirit in. And here's the most important part. When you're done practicing, you're done. You get to close it down. You get up, you go get lunch, right? You pick up the kids, you go walk the dog, and you return to everyday life. That boundary is incredibly, incredibly important. Now, tell me in the comments, have you ever felt like you were picking up on too much energy from people around you? Especially if you're someone who walks into a crowded room and suddenly starts to feel everyone else's emotions. Is this you? Because that brings me to something else. You might be clairsentient. Now, there are all different ways that intuitive information can come through, right? And that is where it really gets interesting because some people are naturally visual. They see things in their mind. They see images and colors and faces and symbols. And this is often referred to as clairvoyance or clear seeing. Now, some people feel information. Is that you? They walk into a house and immediately feel calm. They immediately feel peaceful. Or they immediately feel tense and uncomfortable. They stand next to someone and they suddenly feel sadness, excitement, or nervousness. That's clairsentience or clear feeling. Other people hear information internally. You know, it almost feels like a thought that appears in your mind unexpectedly. You might get a name, a phrase, a word. This is often called clairaudience or clear hearing. And then there's this one that surprises people, and that is clear cognizance. Now, clear cognizance is clear knowing. You don't see it, you don't hear it, and you don't necessarily feel it. You just know. You don't know how you know, but you just know. I know it sounds crazy, right? Somebody asks you a question, and suddenly the answer is there. It just pops into your mind. And you think about someone, and then the phone rings, right? You suddenly know that you need to check on somebody. All of those different kinds of ways are your intuition speaking through you and to you. And one of the things that I want to teach you is this. Stop trying to make your gift look like somebody else's. Maybe your friend sees spirit. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're supposed to see spirit. Maybe you feel, maybe you know, maybe you dream. Your gift has its own language. Now let's talk about step 3. Pay attention to the first impression. This is so important. Here's an exercise that you can start doing immediately, and I want you to keep it fun. When your phone rings, before even looking at the screen, ask yourself, who is it? Don't just sit there for 3 minutes analyzing it, right? Who is the first person that pops into your mind the moment that your phone rings? When someone tells you that you're coming over, right? When someone tells you that they're coming over, ask yourself what color shirt they might have on, what outfit they might be wearing. When you receive an email and you see the person's name, pause before opening. Ask yourself, what does this feel like? Is this good news? A question? Something serious? Then check. Listen, you're not trying to be perfect. You're learning the difference between intuition and overthinking. And intuition is usually fast. It comes quiet, right? And then your mind shows up 5 seconds later and it starts arguing with you. You think, blue, right? And then immediately, oh, no, it can't be blue. Maybe red, maybe pink, maybe violet. Actually, you know what? I think it's probably black. Why would they wear blue? Actually, you know what? Forget about it, right? How many of you do this? Usually, the first impression is the one that I want you to pay attention to. Because when your intuition speaks, it doesn't usually give you a 20-page presentation, right? It doesn't have to explain itself. It drops the information in and it stays there. Now, here's another thing that you can do. This changed everything for me. Keep an intuition journal, right? Write things down. Keep a notebook. Keep it next to your bed. When you wake up from a vivid dream, write it down. Before you even grab your phone, write it down, right? Write it down. And listen, you can do it in your phone as well. I gotta tell you, I don't keep a written journal. I keep it all my notes in my phone because dreams disappear quickly. And then you wake up thinking, that was the craziest dream. I'll never forget that. And then 30 minutes, right? You're sitting in the kitchen, you're like, wait, what was I dreaming about? Because if you're like me, this happens all the time. I'll have the craziest dream. I'll be like, I have to write this down, right? I won't do it and then I'll regret it instantly. I also want you to write down symbols, people, places, feelings. And throughout the day, write down your intuitive impressions too. Maybe you suddenly think about Auntie Mary. Write it down. Maybe you dream about butterflies. Write it down. Maybe you have a feeling that your friend is going to announce something. Write it down. Then now here's the fun part. Go back later. You may begin to start seeing patterns that you completely missed in the moment. This is how you build confidence. It's how you build confidence in yourself and in your ability. Now, here's another thing. Don't try to read everybody. This is another huge one, right? When people first discover that they're intuitive, sometimes they want to practice on everybody, their coworkers, their friends, the people standing in front of them at Starbucks. Please, please don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Psychic development needs boundaries. You know, someone's emotional energy is personal, right? It's almost like if somebody has not invited you into that space, you don't need to go looking. I always say that just because you can knock on someone's front door doesn't mean that you should just walk into their house, right? Consent matters. Boundary matters. And spiritually, those boundaries actually help you. They help you become stronger because you learn to control when you're using your intuition instead of it allowing it to have control over you. Now, here's another one. Don't use intuition to create fear. This one is so important to me. Your intuition is not supposed to make you terrified. It's not supposed to, have you walking around believing something horrible is about to happen every 5 minutes. It's not something to make you panic or stressed. When I communicate with loved ones in heaven during readings, the purpose of those messages are healing, right? It's all about connection, validation. It's about helping someone realize that love continues. It's not about threatening people, right? I remember doing a reading where a woman's loved one came through and she desperately, desperately wanted to know whether she had been receiving his signs. Well, I'm going to tell you this. I don't even know how to describe it. What came through wasn't some dramatic Hollywood moment, right? It was simple. She kept hearing a particular song at strange times. She would get into the car feeling emotional, and there it was. She would walk into a store thinking about him, and the song was on again. She kept dismissing it. She thought, it's just a song. Well, during the reading, when that validation came through, she immediately started crying. Why? Because she knew. She knew exactly what it meant to her. And that's exactly what I want you to understand. I want you to understand this about being intuitive and spiritual. It's all about the communication. It often feels personal, subtle, familiar, and it brings recognition. It does not bring panic. And it doesn't have to be some huge Hollywood moment like you see on TV. Now, you also have to learn this when you're practicing. Learn when to stop. This might be the most underrated psychic ability of all, time, right? Is knowing when to shut it off. If you're tired, stop. If you're emotionally overwhelmed, stop. If you've been practicing for an hour and now you're feeling frustrated because nothing has happened, stop. Go live your life. You don't need to chase spirit. I'm gonna say this again. You don't need to chase spirit. I have always found that the more pressure that you pull out of the process, right, the harder it is for you. Have you ever tried really hard to remember someone's name? Think about that. You're sitting there going, oh my God, what's his name? What's his name? You know his name, but you forget it. Okay, what's his name? What's his name? Oh my God, you can't remember, you can't remember, you can't remember. Then, 2 hours later, while you're brushing your teeth, you're like, Michael, it just popped in, Michael, right? Well, listen, intuition works similarly. This happens to me all the time, right? These are my own stories because I gotta tell you, it's crazy. When you're talking to the dead and trying to balance kids, you need space, right? And clear your energy when you're finished. When you're done, mentally close the practice. Imagine that golden light around you becoming calm and sealed. Imagine anything you picked up that does not belong to you washing away. And then take another deep breath. Touch the chair, right underneath you. Put your feet on the ground. Drink some water. Stretch, walk outside, take a walk. I do this all the time because you're reminding your mind and your body that the practice is over. Then go and do something normal. That balance really does matter. Here's the biggest spiritual lesson. what I believe that the spirit world really wants you to understand. And that is that developing intuition isn't about becoming supernatural. It's about becoming more aware of yourself, more aware of your emotions, more aware of your choices, and more aware of your connection to other people. And yes, for some people, more aware of the loved ones, angels, and spiritual guides that are around them. But your ability should ultimately help you live a better life because you came here to live. You came here to experience relationships, to experience family, to experience love, lessons, challenges, purpose, joy. You weren't born just to sit in meditation, waiting for the next spiritual sign from the afterlife. Your spiritual ability is supposed to help you move through your human life with so much confidence. That's the real gift. And listen, if you're watching right now thinking, Matt, I've experienced some of these things, right? I know when people are going to call me. I feel emotions that aren't mine. I have dreams that start to come true. I feel like I'm being guided. Then start paying attention. Don't fear it. Don't force it. Just begin learning your own spiritual language. And remember, you don't have to do everything all at once. Start with intuition. Start with grounding. Start with noticing. Start with trusting yourself. The more that you practice in a healthy, balanced way, the more that you begin to understand what intuition is and what is imagination, what is emotion, and what might actually be something deeper. Now, I want to talk to you about something because if you're listening to me and thinking, Matt, I want to learn more. I really want to learn. I want to understand how my psychic ability actually works. I want to understand if I even have an ability. I want you to know that this is what my strongest gift is. I want to learn, I should say I want you to learn the same thing that I've learned my entire life, and that is stop second guessing yourself. You have exactly what I have in a different way. It's called your invisible gift. Now, I put together a course, and it will take you step by step through discovering, understanding your intuitive and psychic abilities, and I'm not doing it alone. I'm doing it with my mom, who's also a very gifted psychic. And listen, my mom and I, we're helping students understand intuition, your psychic senses, spiritual communication, divination tools, and how to develop their abilities in a grounded way. So if you've been wanting to have a mediumship mentor, if you've been wanting to go through the journey of learning about your ability, stop what you're doing right now and type the word gift right now in the comments. Just type the word gift. I want to see how many of you really, truly want to go and uncover your own abilities. I want to know how many of you want to go and learn how to discover more. And if you want to become a student of mine, class starts in just about a week. We're going to start our first live coaching call. All you have to do is go to my website, meetmattfraser.com, and click on the invisible gift. Or if you type the word gift right down in the comments below, I will send you the link. Now listen, if you're not ready yet, let's say that you are just on the fence and you're like, Matt, I just don't know. Do I have abilities? Do I not have abilities? Maybe you're afraid. You don't have to be afraid of your intuition. And you don't need to rush it at all. And you certainly don't need to compare your experience with anybody else. Your gift unfolds in its own way. Pay attention, stay grounded, protect your peace, and trust that first quiet impression. And most importantly, keep living your life because the greatest reason we connect with heaven is not so that we become obsessed with what happens after death. It's so that we understand how precious our life is right now. So listen, if you're the type of person where you're still on the fence and you're like, Matt, I don't know. I just don't know if I have a gift or not. Or maybe you just feel like you do, but you don't. You know what I'm talking about? Well, I want to help you because I feel like everybody needs to know. Spirit has shared with me that each one of us has a gift. I'm not just telling you this. We all do. We all have a phone line to connect with the other side. Some of us see, some of us hear, some of us feel, and some of us know. What if I told you there's a way that you can uncover your gift right now? Guess what? I'm going to help you. In the comments, type the word quiz, and I will send you my quiz I just put together. It's an 18 question long quiz on how you can discover your psychic gift. Now, here's what happen. When you get to the quiz, you're going to get a link sent to you. If you type the word quiz, I'm going to send you a link on Facebook or on YouTube. I'll comment under. If you can't find it, it's also on the homepage of my website. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you these 18 questions that you're going to answer, and you're going to get an instant report back and a detailed report that's pages long sent right to your email address that will tell you everything. How you pick up on signs, how you feel your loved ones, what your lead channel is. What's your lead channel? Are you more sensitive? Are you more clairvoyant? Are you more clear knowing? Then you're going to get a second channel, and you're going to get a percentage of what your psychic fingerprint is, because your psychic gift is as individual as your fingerprint. It's unique to you. So nobody gets the same results. Nobody gets the same answers. It's completely based on you. So if you're interested in starting with the quiz, type the word quiz in the comments below. Or if you want to jump in and become a student of mine, this is your last chance to register for the invisible gift. Now, before I let you go, I want to give you a sneak peek into what this course is like. You ready? Take a look at this. Mom, this is so exciting. We have so many people here and with us that are just stepping into their journey of psychic ability, of learning about their intuition.
And the main thing too is that my mother always taught me was that you have to trust it. We all have intuition, but you can't second guess what your gut is telling you.
Now walk us through. We have a couple different divination tools. Just bring us through exactly what's here on the table.
Okay, so, like I said, these are the original tarot cards. My mother made me these cards. Oh, look at Matthew. This is the card I picked, and we all know there's a baby there for you. See how it works? I mean, I didn't know what card I was picking up, but see how it works?
The card says baby. Yeah, I see that. What people really need to realize is that the gift comes from you. It comes from within you.
See how it's starting to move a little bit? See the chain? Look at the chain. See the energy in the chain?
And you're putting that right in the middle of the X, right?
Yes.
So you start off in the middle of the X.
Right.
You focus on a question.
Yes. And then it will start to move. See how it's moving?
You have to work at it. It's a muscle that grows stronger. If you put in the work and you start using it, the stronger it becomes.
Absolutely.